Last week's segments were centred around the economics of resource conservation from a farmer's perspective. This week we're broadening the focus out to economics of resource conservation from the perspective of the community as a whole. So we'll be looking at what are called external benefits and external costs from environmental issues that arise on farms. And this week the discussion is sort of based on an assumption that the government has money to spend in an environmental program, and it's about how we should do that to best effect. So the first point is that choices are required. Environmental programs may have large or small budgets, but there are always more environmental projects that could be done than we have money to do. So when you combine that with the fact that environmental projects are highly variable in the benefits and costs that are associated with them, and therefore in the value for money that they provide, it's always going to be important to make good choices and to be a bit selective about which of the many projects you could do actually get done, actually get funded. Good prioritisation is required. And economics provides the tools and a framework to do that, to get the best outcomes from the available resources. So some of the choices that we need to make between potential projects are pretty tough. They're difficult choices. There are tricky trade-offs that we'll need to make. So some of the insights that have come out of economics work that's tried to support this type of decision making are that you shouldn't just choose the cheapest projects. The cheapest projects might be far from being the most effective projects from an environmental perspective. You also shouldn't choose the projects with the biggest environmental benefits, because some of the projects with the biggest environmental benefits are disproportionately expensive. So then you're using up money that could be used on more cost-effective projects. So the best way to do it, the most appropriate way to do it, is to choose those projects with the highest ratio of benefits to costs. So it's easy to show mathematically that if you do that, then in the end you'll end up with the most valuable environmental benefits in the end for a given pool of money that you've got available to spend on these projects. Another important economic insight is that the benefits of environmental projects depend on more than just the predicted environmental outcomes. They depend on a range of different factors that drive how much of the potential environmental outcomes will actually be delivered. So, for example, I've got a bit of a list here. The values of a project depend on how valuable the environmental assets are, how effective the management actions are at improving the environmental conditions, the likely changes in behaviour by farmers. Are they really likely to modify their farm management in ways that will deliver the environmental benefits? The riskiness of the project, various ways that projects can fail, and we'll talk about that a bit more in another segment. And the time lags until the benefits are delivered. We talked about the importance of discounting from a farmer perspective last week. It's equally relevant this week when we're looking at time lags until the benefits in environmental projects. So in summary, there are many different types of environmental projects and they have benefits to the broader community, not just to farms and farmers. So public decision makers have the difficult task of prioritising which of those projects to choose and to fund. And we need to prioritise those projects on the basis of value for money. So in other words, on the basis of the benefits divided by the costs. And then finally, the estimation of the benefits that are generated by a project or will be generated depend on a range of factors, not just on environmental factors, but on social and financial and risk factors as well.